What is up, world changers? Welcome to the Mission Driven Impact YouTube channel, where we help nonprofits and social entrepreneurs raise awareness for their organization by clarifying their message, getting the word out, and building a loyal community of fans and supporters. In today's video, I want to share with you a few issues that I see across marketing agencies and that serve all types of industries, all types of clients, and why I think that the way marketing is done at the agency level is really in need of an update. Now, before we get started, I want to make it absolutely clear that I am not trying to call anyone out, name any names, put my own agency on a pedestal, or anything like that. But I do see and I talk to so many business owners, especially in the social impact space, startup founders and nonprofit directors, people that don't have time, energy, or resources really to waste on things that don't give them a return. And so many of them tell me that they are unhappy with past experiences with agencies and the results that they do, or more often than not, don't get by working with them. So if you're a business leader, an entrepreneur, a marketer in a larger nonprofit, anything like that, I hope that this video gives you a little bit of clarity around what to look for, what to consider, and what to watch out for when you're working with an agency. All right, real quick, have you ever worked with an agency before? How was it? Let me know in the comments. Tell me yes, no, I'd like to, never again, whatever you want to share, but let me know in the comments if you have had experience working with an agency before. So I want to start just by sharing why I started my agency, Mission Driven Impact, and it's because I really felt that there was a need to fill. And so I started off as a freelancer, and I wanted to just do, I was a freelance copywriter, and I just wanted to do freelance copywriting full time. But I quickly got really frustrated. The more clients I took on, some bigger clients that maybe had a lot at stake, and I knew that I was very skilled as a writer, but I still felt that when I would pass off a deliverable, I'd kind of watch it go to waste. And I felt that was largely because my clients lacked a clear strategy. And that's why I talk about strategy so much on this channel and elsewhere. First, they lacked a strategy around what they actually needed to be writing. Okay, a copywriter can fix that, suggest their own topics, come with their own research. But then I still noticed this gap where there was then a lack in strategic promotion or content distribution. And that was just beyond what I could ever do as a copywriter without all sorts of other things happening in a business. And so I felt that I just wasn't getting the results that my clients deserved by me being a freelancer. And I think that this is a huge downfall with freelance marketing work. Second, there was just a lack, and I mean, there still is this lack of really high quality, valuable, educational, useful, and actionable content for the wider social impact space. Now, it's already pretty limited if you are a traditional nonprofit, but if you are a more modern nonprofit, if you are relying more on earned revenue than donations, if you've started a social enterprise, if you're a startup founder in the social impact space, there aren't a lot of places to turn for answers to your questions. And so I started this agency and I started this YouTube channel and things like that because I really wanted to bring this material to the market. It's out there, it's just not being shared. And lastly, I considered doing all sorts of things like, outsourced CMO or virtual marketing director. But when I started looking at more agencies in the space, marketing agencies in general, not just in the social impact space, I'm not trying to call anyone out. This is an agency industry-wide problem, across industries, is that most agencies weren't really doing anything different than freelance work. And I'll get a little bit more into that in a second. So the first problem that I kind of see with a lot of agencies is misaligned goals. If you are a marketer, or even worse, if you are really the head of a small business, of a smaller nonprofit or something like that, where you're wearing all these hats, sometimes including marketing, maybe you just have 2 or 3 people and someone is wearing the marketing hat along with a bunch of others, right? What you're accountable for when you meet with your board of directors, or when you sit down with your bookkeeper at the end of the month or something, what you are accountable for is where the bottom line is, and how much you have grown your company or organization. In other words, you are accountable for the people that are coming to the door. These are leads. You're accountable for the number of people who are encountering your business, right? Online, this is like website traffic and things like that. Most marketing agencies almost like 99% of marketing agencies are not at all accountable for leads, for traffic, for anything like that. Instead, what most will tell you is that they'll give you 3 blog posts a month, or they will give you so many social media assets a month. Maybe they'll manage your social media for a certain number of hours a month or something like that. And that they're just misaligned goals. And so what you're getting from a marketing agency isn't actually tied to what you need to do in your job, in your organization. So I think that more agencies need to be focused on results, not just deliverables. And for most businesses, that means leads, that means traffic, maybe it means, conversions, things like that. And so if you are considering hiring out an agency, just keep in mind that blog post alone, social media management alone, whatever it is, isn't going to get you the results you need. What you need is a system, and you need a marketing agency that understands systems thinking. The second and just completely pervasive problem that marketing agencies perpetuate is generic content. So you can do a quick Google search for anything and see, there are millions of blogs popping up every day. There are, billions of web pages, maybe more, I don't know, but on the internet. And so many of them just regurgitate the same thing. A lot of this is because marketing agencies will oftentimes have a roster of freelancers, and they will give their freelancers an assignment and say, run with it. And they're not industry experts. They are not in the head of your target audience. They don't really understand their pain points or the customer's journey or anything like that. And so they kind of Google around for surface level content and kind of regurgitate it into a post that maybe captures your tone of voice or something like that. And that's just not content that is going to make people read that and be like, wow, this business can really help me. This person can really help me. This organization is really worth supporting. And it's not going to get you the results that you need. So the way that we like to produce really insightful, industry-specific content is by interviewing a subject matter expert and treating it more like journalism than blogging or something like that. And so, it doesn't have to be structured like a Q&A. You don't have to record your Zoom videos and things like that. I mean, you can, but what you need is just like more so, what do the experts, people who really are entrenched in this topic, what do they have to say? What ideas and insights do they have to offer? And then it is your job as a marketer to share that, or it's our job if we're an agency that you're hiring, or I think you know what I mean. So if you are, just off the example off the top of my head, if you are a nonprofit that helps kids in school with anxiety, it was an example I used in my last video, then there is a time and a place for a blog post detailing deep breathing techniques. Sure, for sure. But when you are maybe pitching a software, or you're pitching a program or something to schools, to superintendents and things like that, right? They need a little bit more than just 5 deep breathing techniques. You know what I mean? Or the 10 wellness, mindfulness trends in 2021. You know what I mean? They need really, deep expertise-driven content. And the way you get that is by interviewing experts and kind of sharing these insights. That's going to do a lot more for you than a marketing agency that Googles around and tries to regurgitate what they find. So if you're considering outsourcing, hiring a marketing agency, just ask what goes into the content creation process. Who writes it? How do they get their information? And how do they know that it's actually going to resonate with your target audience? Speaking of resonating with your target audience research, customer research, user research, community research, whatever you want to call it, it is paramount to everything you do. I mean, your messaging, your marketing, your branding, everything sits on top of how much you understand your customers, right? You've got to know who you're talking to. You've got to know what they're struggling with, what they really want. You've got to know what language they're using, exactly how you can help them achieve their transformation, go to A to B, etc. And most agencies just are not at all involved in the customer research process. Most agencies get their topics and rely on high volume search terms. So just these generic phrases that are being searched a lot on Google every month. And there's a lot of value in that. There's a lot of value in SEO and what SEO agencies do. My agency, we do SEO kind of just as part of our overall process. But you can't lose sight of writing for your target audience. And what happens a lot is that they will write to rank for a search term, get you on the first page of Google for a generic search term, but it's not one that was thought out as one that would actually convert and move your business forward, right? You can't write for Google, you got to write for the people that you're serving. So whenever my agency starts any engagement, and this includes my one-on-one coaching program, the first thing we do is an intake session where we get really clear about who you're serving, what their challenges are, what role you have to play, how exactly you help them. And if you don't have good answers to these questions, then we take the first month of our retainer to go and do that for you. We make the calls to your past and current clients. We are really mining for this customer research data, because we know that if you don't get that right, it doesn't matter what else you do. It doesn't matter how talented the people in your team or marketing agencies or things like that are. If you don't know who you're talking to and what they're looking for and what they're struggling with, you're always going to be off the mark. All right, the last problem or red flag that I want to kind of raise in this video is that most marketing agencies are actually ineffective at the marketing part of it. And this is especially the case for content marketing agencies. There are two parts to content marketing, right? There's the content that you have to create, and then you got to go out and you got to market that content. You have to promote and distribute that content. And what I found is that most agencies, especially content marketing agencies, are just sort of glorified writing services. And they will say, we're going to give you this amount of blog posts per month. They're not going to be accountable to leads and traffic like we talked about before. And they might, even throw around terms like social media marketing, social media management, things like that. And what happens is that they will, basically push these blog posts out to your own company's social media channels. And to me, that's not real promotion. That's not real content distribution. We believe that there is nothing worse than putting a ton of time and energy and effort into creating something, interviewing a subject matter expert, taking someone else's time, and creating this great piece of content, and then having no one see it. And I think all marketers, all content marketers, all writers, we have been there, we have felt that, but what are we doing to fix it? And so in the short term, you can do things like actually driving traffic to your articles through things like paid ads, Facebook ads. In the long term, you can make sure that SEO picks things up. You can do things like link building, continue promotion, if you desire. And that makes sure that people are actually seeing your content. And again, it goes back to having aligned goals from the start. Most marketing agencies, what they're accountable for is the number of deliverables they give you, the number of Google Docs they send you, the number of things that they publish on your social media. If you have an agency that's actually accountable for leads, for people that come through the door, for traffic, for people that are actually encountering your business, and an agency is focused on growing those, and content happens to be how they do that, in the case of my agency, there's built-in incentive to make sure that the things you're doing are getting actual results that actually matter for the organization, for your organization, and to move your business forward. So before you sign a contract or pay an invoice, do not at all be afraid to ask a marketing agency or a freelancer, a consultant, whoever you're working with. If you're hiring an in-house marketer, ask them this too. How do they know that the things they give to you are going to make a difference? What is their plan? What is their process for actually getting eyeballs on these things? How do they know that what they're doing as a marketer is actually going to move the business forward, not just the marketing metric, but the entire business or organization forward? You got to know that, and especially the marketing agency has to know that. Has anything I've said in this video resonated with you? Have you had a poor agency experience in the past, or a really good one? I'm definitely not trying to say that all these agencies out here just suck and are giving everyone a terrible time. Not the case at all. But if you do have past experience with an agency, or if you're currently looking to outsource your marketing either to a freelancer or agency or something like that, then I would love to talk to you and just get your insight. I'm not going to try to sell you anything, but I would just love to get your insight about what the experience has been like. What I want you to do is connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll leave a link down in the description below. send me a connection request and we can start to talk one-on-one. Until then, like and subscribe to this channel. That way you won't miss out when a new video comes out, and I will see you in the next one.